Hi, welcome to our introduction video number 1. This is our first getting started video for fundamentals of SQL. This is Sherry Hutchinson, and in this video you're going to not hear my squeaky Minnie Mouse voice, and I have a guest video voice of my husband John. So enjoy.
Now, you see over here on the left the sales order example, that's the database, and dbo.customers. DBO is the schema, customers is the table. So what we basically have is a database, and within the database are your tables. And in between is the schema called DBO, which is the default name for schema. Schema is basically a storage area. Okay? Now, let's write the simplest statement you could possibly write. So up at the top, so write select. Okay? We're going to select all the columns with an asterisk. Hit enter. Then say from. Now we're going to pull over the database. Then we're going to put a period. Then DBO. Now you can hit the execute button, or as it says in parentheses, F5. So hit execute, and voila, there are all your columns and all your rows. So we have 28 rows and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 columns. So alternatively to writing sales order example DBO customers, we could write at the top to, and click in here and hit enter a couple times, and write. For right now, we can say use, and here again you can either type or you can drag. So now we're telling SQL to use this database. So now I can write select from the customers. It knows, and let's hit F5 again. Boom, we got the same result. Now this is good for now because we're going to be working with the customers. We're within this sales orders example, so we only have to write use sales orders example once. When we connect between databases, it's important to have the database name and schema name prior to the table name. So right now we're selecting asterisk, that's all the columns, as you can see, from the table. Okay? Now, instead of that, okay, now let's comment out select this query here with, and the way you comment out a line are 2 dash marks. Boom, boom, and it makes it green. Then from, boom, boom, takes it green. So now we go to the end here and hit enter a couple times, give ourselves a little space. Okay, look, we have now let's say we want to find just customer states. All right, how many states we have customers in? Say your boss wants to know that. So we're going to write select then let's make it cities and states. So we're going to look at city, customer, city. Then what you do is you put a comma and you write customer state. Okay. Now, from our database, customers. Now let's execute this. Great. So we have our 28 rows. Okay, trouble is if you look at your results set beneath, you have the city and the state are repeated. Okay? So we want to see distinct or unique city and state combinations. So let's add the word distinct. Now, let's hit our execute. Great. Now instead of 28 rows, if you scroll down in the results set, you see only 21. So Redmond, Washington comes up once. Also notice they've been, by default, the first column, customer city, is ordered in an ascending fashion. Okay. Now, say we don't like the name Cust City. Let's change the name Cust City. Okay. And we want to order by states instead of by cities. So let's do things. Let's change our Cust City to simply city and Cust State to state. So, very conveniently, you can write Cust City as city. This is one way. There's a number of ways to change the column names, but it's probably most commonly used. As state. Great. Now, let's sort by the state. Let's sort by a descending fashion. You can say order. There's a couple ways to do it. By to descending. 2 means the second column over. Or you could write state. But let's try 2 first, and let's hit execute and see what we get. Now you see state Washington is then Texas, then Oregon, and so forth down the line. Now let's say we want another column from our customer's name, and we don't know the column names. So let's go to the Object Explorer on your left over here in our customers table. It says columns. There's a folder called columns. And if you click on the plus sign and expand it, you can see all the column names that we have. Customer ID, Cust first name, Cust last name, Cust city, and so forth. The 9 customers. Okay. So let's pull in addition to that, let's pull in the zip code. So what you can do is click on the Cust zip, left click, and drag it underneath state. Now, you notice the red squiggly lines that show up underneath Cust city, Cust state, and Cust zip code. Now, it doesn't matter if the brackets are here, it's just by default. And if you hover on it, it says incorrect syntax near Cust zip code. Okay, that means the comma, we need a comma after state. Now that clears up, so it's fine. Alternatively, we could put the commas on the left side I like to put the commas at the end of the clause or the line, 8 and 9, or you could put it at the beginning. Some people prefer to put the commas at the beginning. Here, here, and here. But then you have to get rid of the commas at the end over here. Now let's give that a let's give this a try. Oh, incorrect syntax near line 8. Okay. So that means here's the error message, incorrect. So we know there's a problem with comma. Now let's give it another try. Hit execute. And there you go. So this comma here corresponds to the end of city. This comma here corresponds to the end of state. Again, let me change it back because I prefer to have my commas at the end. To each his own. Sometimes it's simpler when you have a large number to. Alternatively, some people like to have, instead of stacking them vertically, some people like to write horizontally. So you could also do this. And again, if you hit execute, it works just fine. So you could have them. In some instances, you'd like that because, there's a lot of space. You have a long program or something. But let's go. But I prefer to stack them vertically. It's easier for me to read.
And this concludes the end of our practice video 1. Please make sure that you take the query list that I have in the course room for this session and go through each one of the queries that I have listed and practice them and go through and troubleshoot them. Now on to the next video.